Astra Travelers, and welcome to another episode of Tales of Teyvat, a Genshin Lore Podcast. Last week, we pulled out our tissues and swung through the canopies as we discussed Saurian Hunter Kanich. This week, we're going to talk about another character with a pretty sad backstory as we talk all about Bennett.
Are you prone to life-threatening accidents, but you're looking for companions anyway? Well, we're going to stay the hell away from you, but come on over to our website, talesofteyvat.com, where you can at least find visual companions for each episode we do, including this one. But also, please consider staying away from all electronics for your own safety.
While you're on our site, check out our past episodes and seasons, artist spotlights from the community for every topic, and some other goodies.
Finally, feel free to email us at talesofteyvatpod@gmail.com to let us know what you think of this week's episode and what topics you'd like to see in the future. Just remember that Chalkboy Albedo is watching. Additionally, if you like this episode, you can feel free to give us a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts so other travelers can know that there's some spiffy conversations going over here.
Oh, spiffy.
Yeah, spiffy, full of luck, full of love.
Is it Spiffy from Tiffy? Oh.
Spiffy from Tiffy. And lastly, you can feel free to join us on our 18 plus Discord server if you're interested in having some more conversations about Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, Cats, but not Cats the Musical, and other topics. If you're interested in joining, you can go to bit.ly/Shades of Teyvat, all lowercase and no spaces. That being said, today we're talking about our sad, unlucky, positive beam of light of Bennett. And I want to know what your guys' first impressions were of Bennett, because he wasn't in the original Mondstadt Archon line at all. So it was really like either an event or you happened to run into him or you pulled him was your first experience with him, right?
I believe mine was his hangout.
Oh,
you
okay.
started right in there.
Yeah. I was like, oh, what is a hangout? It might have been the first one I did. If it wasn't, it was one of the first ones.
It's first chronological.
Yeah, then I'm sure it was the first one I did. I was like, what is this?
It was my first one.
Are we on a date? Because I never played what are they called? Like visual novel games. I'd never played one of those before. So I was just a little like, what's happening right now?
You're like, oh, there's a dating simulator in here.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. My first hangout was Shang Yun's, which was fun because we had, well, so when it comes to hangouts, I really had no idea what the fuck I was doing. Like, I ignored them like I currently do. And so at some point, I think I was streaming on Twitch. And I was like, let me do Shang Yun because I really liked him. And so I did his hangout. And I want to say Bennett's might have been like the next one I did because I had heard probably from Brandon that it was really good. And I was like, wow, this kid is sad.
I don't know if I thought it was that good. It might have been someone else.
Oh, shit.
I didn't dislike it, but like I thought it was pretty good. But I don't remember thinking like, wow, that was so good. I mean, I thought it was kind of cutesy, like how unlucky he is.
You have to be honest, though. By the end, where you're kind of like, please stop saying that you're unlucky. I'm getting tired of hearing you say, I have no luck. Shucks. I was just like, maybe because I did it all in like one sitting, but I was just like, if you say it one more time, I'm going to give you no luck.
Yeah, I just feel like the hangouts, it's a general complaint about them, is that they just go on a little too long.
Yeah.
If you do all of them at once, you stop caring halfway through.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay, let me go back over here again so I can get to the other branch of this crap.
Yeah.
So it definitely got that way before I finished it. But it starts off very charming.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is really cute. But yeah, by the end of it, I think I probably was like, all right, I'm ready for this to be over.
And where like Shang Yun's actually seems like two separate stories, I feel like Bennett's is one.
Which makes sense with it being the first one. They were testing the waters a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to say like Babs and Diona kind of stay on the same story, but it moves around a little bit more where it's like you're really repetitive in Bennett's. But I liked it. I don't know if that's where if I first met him, I may have pulled him before I did the hangout. And while I haven't done many hangouts, I, for whatever reason, have to do them in chronological order. I don't know why. I just have to. I really liked him. I thought he was very charming, and I did think I was on a date, or at least he was fangirling real hard.
Right.
It was like he was on a date with his celebrity icon.
And then I was also kind of like, wait, in retrospect, I'm like, was that our first orphan alert? Was he our first orphan?
No, because you met Kaya and T-Luke, right?
Yeah, but they were adults when they lost their. That goes into the side of are you an orphan if you're already like,
yes,
able to procreate yourself?
We are not taking away the orphan title from people.
They're not really though.
They are.
We don't know if Kaya's dad's actually dead or mom.
He's mentally dead, and that's enough for me. I don't like him. Do you like him?
I typically think of an orphan as a kid.
I don't know though if we knew in game that anyone was an orphan before. Wait, do we even? Yeah, I guess we find out in Bennett's hangout, right? Because he talks about his dad.
He talks about his dad's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like Kaya and D-Luke, I don't think they go into their family history at first.
The manga came out before the game, though, and we did see Krapus die.
Yeah.
Not saying that we know nothing. Obviously, we know nothing about D-Luke's mom, but
I don't think I had read the manga before I got to Bennett's hangout.
That's a good point. I bet there are some people who did, of course, because I think that's what kind of gauged their interest in the game.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm gonna name him though. I'm gonna name him our first orphan.
I'm gonna ignore that name. I don't like it.
It makes Kaya and D-Luke less special too.
He was an actual baby when he was left.
We don't even know what happened. We'll get into that in a minute, though. Anyway, my next question for you guys before we jump into anything lore-wise with Bennett is your Bennett C6'd?
My Bennett is C6'd because this motherfucker is so unlucky that his C6 is cursed, and I don't care because I hate that stupid notification. I am passionate about this. I cannot stand the notification. I don't know how people do it. Like, how do you see him being like, oh, he could be C6, but I'm going to keep that from him, and I'm going to look at the dot.
I'm too much of a completionist to stop at C5. I'm like, no, it's not complete.
Yeah. That's how I felt too. I'm a mix of the two. I was like, he needs to be complete, and also this red dot is so annoying.
It drove me crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like that's how they designed him to be played, and that's how I'm going to play him. And he was never so detrimental to the team that I was using that it was going to like change my ability to do things. So he wasn't such a crucial team. I mean, he's great. I use him in Spiral Abyss all the time and Imaginarium, but he was never like, oh, I have to have the C5 version of him, or it's going to screw up my, abilities. It was never like that for me.
Yeah, it wasn't about the build.
I enjoyed though that as I was sitting, like maybe even been streaming just to friends, and I want to say that our friend Maury said to me, "Oh, you don't ever want to C6 Bennett?" And I said, "Oh yeah," and I hit the button. I was like, nope. Oh, that's sad. I'm gonna just do it anyway.
The notification's gone.
Yeah.
She was like, no. You're like, yes. Don't do it. I'm doing
it. He is a very good healer, and I don't play him that much, but I actually do appreciate the few chances when I do actually play with him. But I don't see a difference because I don't play with him that much for that to have been a problem also. And that's not the kind of player I am.
Now, a few things to know about Bennett before we jump too far into his story and everything is bad luck. That is like number one. Like if you looked up Bennett and it was like top 5 things you need to know, it'd be that he has bad luck. His bad luck goes as deep as to say that he was born on a leap year. So he has a February 29th birthday. Started right from the fucking get-go there.
I love, because they couldn't do Friday the 13th because that always changes. And the fact that they did February 29th is like perfect.
Yeah, he's probably like 6 in hindsight. Maybe 4.
He might be 6 now. We don't know.
They even went with this bad luck as far as putting it into his constellation, which is Rhoda Calamitis, which translates to Wheel of Misfortune. And also his outfit, which is called Fortune's Favor, just feels like that feels wrong.
What a dick name to give his outfit.
I know, right? They're like, let's just be jerks to him.
It was the slow laugh into it, though, that just made it more like maniacal.
And his outfit is supposedly an adventurer's uniform that has been quote unquote patched and sewn up, which I mean, it really, to me, looks like it was cut up. I mean, he's navel out. None of the adventurers have navel out.
Not navel out.
He's got the navel out. He's got the arms, the legs, his kneecaps. He's even got a back window on his lower back.
Got a tramp stamp window?
Yeah, with no tramp stamp. Like, that's how unlucky he is. He doesn't even have a tramp stamp for the window.
Well, I'm sure he'll accidentally get one that he doesn't want at some point.
Yeah, it's gonna be of my face.
Oh.
Oh. Oh my. I mean, that would be a stamp of a tramp.
Yeah, it would be. Anyway, the other thing to know about Bennett is that he is a member of the Adventurers Guild. Now, I know lately it feels like we've been talking about the Adventurers Guild a lot, but a quick recap, they're an organization based out of Shaznia, which seems super fucking suspicious every day. But they're basically like, adventurer for hire. Like, you need something done, you go over to your local Catherine and you say, hey, like, I need someone to kill my neighbor. And she's like, cool, we'll find someone. Or you're like, Catherine, I need someone to pick me dandelion seeds. She'll be like, cool, we'll find somebody. And in Mondstadt, it's really interesting because their branch is huge. Like, it's like the one place that I've ever seen that has a giant building with a sign outside of it announcing that you're at the Adventurers Guild. But they're actually like super desperate for new adventurers. Like, they're looking for people to join. If you go into Angel Share, there's actually a bunch of like flyers around. They're like, come join the adventurers. Mama. It's really crazy to me because it feels like the Adventurers Guild is like hiding a bunch of lore, and then Bennett is like sitting on top of the lore, just like swinging his legs, like dee 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 dee. I don't know what's going on here. But some other members of the Adventurers Guild that we have in Mondstadt is number one Cyrus. And by number one Cyrus, I don't mean that he's number one. I mean, it's the first Cyrus we met. This is
not the Sumpter Beast?
Not a Sumpter Beast, not Cyno's father. This is Cyrus number one, the head of the Adventurers Guild in Mondstadt.
It's Monocle Cyrus.
Monocle Cyrus. Thick Cyrus.
Oh.
Oh my.
I'm sorry, he could kill me with his arms. Like, if you put a watermelon like where his elbow bends, gone.
Well, he could kill me with his thighs.
Yeah, the thighs too. Oh my god, stop. I could say so much about choking people with thighs right now.
Oh my god.
I watched a video.
Yeah.
Would you like to share with the class?
Oh, it's a 911.
It's a 911. They interviewed two of the actors and they read thirst tweets about themselves. It was really good. It was fabulous. Choking people with thighs. Anyway, they are not choking people with thighs in the Adventurers Guild in Mondstadt. Not that we've been alerted to yet. I'm sure the Traveler would be there, front row. But there is one other person that we know of who's an adventurer in Mondstadt, and that's actually Fischl. And of course, there's other random ass adventurers. You have Jack and Royce and Heckler, who are all people we'll talk about in a little bit. You have that drunk guy that's always by a tree. We'll talk a little more about that stuff later. But Fischl is the other playable character who's in the Adventurers Guild, and she's like higher up than Bennett. Which is, I don't understand how either of them could be high up in the Adventurers Guild, but I guess they're low on manpower.
Well, she's like in like the head of like an intelligence team or whatever. With Bennett, he's not even supposed to have his own team. Catherine just feels bad for him and just keeps him on the books. This way he doesn't like cry. But he knows that all of his other teammates all like left him. So it's like they could give him another job. He could hardly do the job that he's got.
Yeah, so in the Adventurers Guild, for travelers who don't know, you can actually have teams, which is kind of competitive, and your team can go out and do shit. I don't really understand the team aspect. I guess it's No Man Left Behind, something like that.
Yeah.
And teams are supposed to be composed of 3 to 4 people, minimally. And Bennett had 4 people originally. They were Jack, Royce, and Heckler. And for various reasons, they all left Benny's adventure team because of Bennett's bad luck for the most part. But Bennett has convinced Catherine to mark them as on leave. So it still looks like he has a full team even though they're gone.
Yeah, I don't even know how much it is him convincing her as much as it's her feeling bad for him.
Yeah, we'll give him a little credit. He needs credit where it's due. He's a sad boy.
But he knows that she does it just as a favor because she feels bad for him, and he appreciates that.
But yeah, that's a little bit about the Adventurers Guild. I can say a lot about them and their sus-ass flag. That's a castle with tree roots coming out from the bottom. It looks like Celestia and then tree roots, just saying. But I'll skip that because this is an episode about Bennett. But yeah, that's the Adventurers Guild in Mondstadt, and Bennett is a member of that. And he basically has been a member of the Adventurers Guild since he was a bitty baby.
Yeah, he was adopted into it.
Mm-hmm. By an old man, which on its surface, depending on how you tell the story, it gets real creepy real quick. You know, like it all depends on where you're, like the emphasis on the wrong syllable, and it's like a horror.
Syllable, the emphasis on the wrong syllable. I like that.
I say it way too often.
Yeah, he was found by an old adventurer who went, and I mean like an adventurer of the past who was older, but he went through this like hellish journey to find him, involving scorching flames, deafening thunder, and hollering winds that threatened to rip his soul from him. And
I'm glad he's not dramatic or anything.
I know, right? I mean, it did kill him, but before it killed him, he found Bennett.
He did die.
And it's sort of ominous the way the lore describes it, because he describes it as like this baby was abandoned by the world. And, you know, he obviously went through this gauntlet to find him. And he didn't know what he was going to find, but he knew that he was searching for some great treasure. And he knew that taking Bennett would be to oppose the will of the world, is what he says about that. But he did it anyway because he just thought of this baby as a magnificent treasure, and then he died. He died of severe injury.
And then he died. He picked up the baby and then he died.
No. He got the baby.
He got the baby home.
Yeah, he got the baby out of there. He wasn't able to tell anyone what he went through.
He like died being like, baby, treasure.
Yeah, just died with
Dead.
this baby. Yes, yeah, baby, treasure, dead. Yeah. And then, which end up becoming Bennett's dads, they find him and take him in. They're the ones that name him Bennett, which is also just very funny writers. Bennett being sort of coming from, you know, I think it comes from a word that means like benediction or something, right?
Yeah.
And it just makes me think of benefit. Like it's a word sort of stemming from positive things.
Something actually really interesting about like name Bennett is that it's actually also the name of like a really common fracture that you can get in your thumb.
What?
It is, I swear.
A fracture you can get in your thumb.
Yeah, a Bennett fracture is common, and it happens like at the bottom of your thumb, like at the base, like where it kind of starts to connect with your hand. And I think that's really funny because Bennett always fucking has his thumbs up. He's always like, hell yeah, I'm fine with the thumb going.
That's his little, like, his bursty too, right?
His burst is the thumbs up. I kind of wonder if he's broken it and it's stuck. Like he can't make a fist.
Did I ever tell you that I broke my thumb? Well, I don't know if it was technically a break as much as a fracture.
A Bennett fracture.
Playing volleyball. I think I have a Bennett fracture. I'm gonna have to look that shit up.
You should pull up the x-rays, and if you have a pic, we could post them. You're like, this is what a Bennett fracture is.
I can't put my thumb flat up against my palm anymore. It won't.
I bet Bennett can't either.
Yeah, he can't either. Oh my god, I'm Bennett.
Oh my god, no, you don't say that, Tiff. I mean, you have the same birthday month.
Mm-hmm.
I looked it up, by the way, and it originates from the Latin root benedictus, which means blessed. So, you know, the writers knew what they were doing. Like his name means blessed, and he's cursed.
But maybe he is blessed. I mean, I love bringing up a good old cursing/blessing anymore. Who's to say that he wasn't blessed by a god? I mean, the way that Dad Number 1 describes where he found Bennett, if you take away the wind, it kind of sounds like the Marge of Ari when you like hear about it until you hear the whole thing about like no wind.
Right.
Because we know that there's supposedly no wind there. But also, who the fuck knows? I don't trust Fenty. It's the truth.
Well, and I know there have been many rumors throughout the last few recent years about Bennett's origins being Natlinese. So I'm sure that also adds to like, oh, did this happen in the marriage of Ari? Because we don't know where his original dad was that found him.
Yeah, and we know that Mondstadt adventurers love trying to find the Marge of Ari. Isn't that what Fake Stanley is pretending? Fake Stanley lost real Stanley in the Marge of Ari, and he was all upset because his friend would never be free because the wind can't reach there, so the Animal Archon wouldn't be able to reach him there.
Right.
I also want to point out that Bennett has a fang. I'm just saying.
A fang?
Yeah, if you look at Bennett smiling, he doesn't have a flat mouth. He has like a little fang there.
Oh, like a
razor's fang?
A pronounced canine. But yeah, I always wondered if there was something about that, you know? Is it possible that he has something going on there?
I honestly thought it was just like an anime thing because I feel like a lot of anime, when they're not looking at you straight on, I always feel like they always have that kind of mouth. Is that just me?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if any of the other characters have it. It was just something I noticed with Bennett. There's not a lot of characters that have like open mouths in their splash art. I think Ga Ming might, possibly child. I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm all here for Bennett being Rosaria's vampire kid.
Oh, I was thinking more of like a Saurian, but we could go with that.
I mean, in my world, the only reason you have a fang
is because you're a vampire.
Is because you're a vampire.
Oh.
Who's the Slayer?
Wait, there's no need for a Slayer.
I don't know about that one. Taya.
Jean.
Jean. Oh my god.
Jean, the vampire slayer.
Dun 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 dun. No,
I feel like it would be Babs, honestly.
Yeah, it's Barbara at the church being like, Catholicism only! As she stabs them with her stake.
But I love the idea, Feeny, of Bennett being part dragon.
Which would mean that he would have a blessing or a curse somehow, right?
It could.
I mean, you know, I think his name meaning blessing, I think, really pulls from the fact that the dads and travelers, we haven't explained it very well, but basically all of these single childless men of the Adventurers Guild, which there seems to be plentiful of, despite the fact that they are having issues with their membership, they have all taken Bennett under their wing and collectively raised him. So Bennett has multiple fathers.
Now, was there a time a few decades ago where it was just gay men joining the Adventurers Guild?
Yes, it's possible.
Is it, you know what I mean? Is it
this was the dandy club of Mondstadt?
Yeah, I'm like, is this like the gay men's choir? You know, they all just joined the Adventurers Guild, and their original commissions were just like going around and singing.
They were just an a cappella group.
Yeah.
I immediately thought of the boys in the band.
Yeah.
Like it's just a whole bunch of, you know, New York City catty gay men.
You know, they're not as far removed from the aristocracy times. So maybe that's what gay men in Mondstadt did back then, because they couldn't be out. So they are like, well, I can't get married because I got to go join the Adventurers Guild. There's no time for marriage when you're an adventurer.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Distraction is always the best mode for when you're
just
being
really
repressed.
Dedicated to my work.
Yeah.
I did just want to go back to the Bennett fracture for a second. So Bennett fracture, bottom of the thumb, blah, blah, blah. But I also think it's funny because like Bennett always has his thumbs up. And, you know, for the most part, thumbs up is like, great, I agree with you. We're cool. Everything's fine. But in some cultures, a thumbs up can actually be an insult. And it can be like a fuck you. And I would love, love, love to have a scene where Bennett, with his broken thumb that he can't put down, because that's my new headcanon, just gives a thumbs up to, like, the Raiden Shogun, and she just takes her finger and, like, slits it across her throat to him, like, you're dead. Why'd you do that to me? And he's like, what? He's like, my hand, what? I think that'd be really fucking funny. I would love to see him try to be positive and it get him in trouble.
He accidentally offends the Raiden Shogun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want. I think it's very up his alley to, I mean, he could get struck by lightning. There's a lot of things that could happen to him that I'd be like, yep, that's Bennett.
Thank God he wasn't, you know, in Sumeru when that happened.
I know, thank God. I mean, thank God that there's really only like, what, 2 electrovision holders in Mondstadt and they're both his friends. Like, he's lucky.
If it had happened to Bennett, it would have shown it. And it would have been in like slow motion, showing all the
It would have been like
pain.
a 10-minute cutscene.
Yeah.
You're right, unfortunately, because Tignari deserved to have a cutscene that showed him getting struck by lightning.
Bennett's got a lot of scars too.
And band-aids.
And band-aids, yeah.
He has one right on his nose. I hope he shares it with Nat. They share like nose band-aids. Although hers is a scar. She just wears it sometimes for fun.
He does carry around his own bandages, though. I mean, because when you get hurt that often, you really do need them. But he has a whole bunch in his utility pouch that, like, he gets from Babs and from Catherine, and then just like random people that he meets when he randomly gets injured. But he thinks of them as tokens of goodwill, and that everybody's on his side.
Yeah.
You know, and he guesses like, oh, maybe I'm not all that unlucky because I just, impaled myself on this fence. But hey, at least there was a stranger who gave me a band-aid.
Yeah, he's very fond of them. Oh, and I love that Catherine gives him bandages too.
Yeah.
Catherine is so involved in Bennett's life, like more than anyone else is.
This is before they decided she was a robot.
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like Mondstadt Catherine is just like overly invested in her community. Like we see that in some of the quests.
Yeah, the most recent one, absolutely.
Yeah, right in the beginning, like you get a taste of her being a busybody. That's it.
I have a theory that we're gonna meet human Catherine and not cry. But what if like original human Catherine? Because I'm assuming there is one. I mean, who knows? But I'm in my head there is one. And maybe she just randomly goes and replaces the robot in certain cities. So maybe she comes to Mondstadt sometimes.
Oh, I love that idea.
She goes wherever she thinks the tea is going to spill next.
Seriously.
She's like, I've heard rumors from bot number 67 that some shit is about to go down in Sumeru. Let me go check this out.
Yeah.
Oh shit, bot number 5 died in Sumeru. Let me leave.
Wait, all systems have turned into a god of Dendro?
What the fuck?
What are these people doing?
I have to send a replacement.
Possessed.
But yeah, Bennett had a very sad upbringing, but his fathers, they truly thought that he was blessed to have even been alive. They thought he was lucky, and that's why he got his name. And now he is the adopted son of at least, in my head, 40 people. He's basically running a nursing home somewhere in Mondstadt now because they're all older.
Yeah, it's definitely so many that he has a really hard time taking care of them by himself.
Yeah, and he admits to that too, which is Bennett is one of those characters where when he admits a flaw or an emotion that isn't positivity, you're like, oh, like you're like when Bennett is admitting this, you know it's hard.
Right.
Like you know that it's actually tough. Bennett's not the one going around being like, my eggs were cold. And he's like, my eggs were cold and it was really good and I actually didn't expect to enjoy them. Like, which sounds terrible, but that's fine. But yeah, so he
I love that because doesn't he accidentally scorch his eggs every time he cooks them?
Yeah, I mean, who's a worse cook in Mondstadt, him or Amber? We'll never know. It's to the point that Bennett actually says maybe she was born with bad luck too, because every time he sees her cooking, there's smoke.
Maybe she's born with it.
Maybe it's a curse.
Maybe it's a curse. Yeah.
We have to get like a Maybelline like looking sticker now. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's a curse.
I love that.
It's just Farina smiling at the
camera. She does have those like intense eyelashes.
Yeah, she does.
It's just a mascara bottle underneath it. It's waterproof because you're gonna cry. But Bennett actually even says that Cyrus says to Bennett that the dads have certainly found a treasure in him. So Bennett is loved.
And they send him a birthday cake every year on his birthday, which is really sweet. And then he sends us mail about it with a scorched egg.
I'm like, bro, I don't want it. You and Amber can take your burnt fucking foods elsewhere.
But the way he talks about them sending him a cake every year, it's like they all like go out of their way to make it really special for him. So I appreciate that. Even though he's a cursed orphan, he's very well taken care of, had a lot of love growing up.
Is he a cursed orphan or a blessed adoptee? It's like, what glass are you looking at?
Right. Well, he can be both.
I feel like Bennett just looks at himself as Bennett at this point,
I think he sees himself as both. I think he sees himself as like he knows how bad his luck is, but he also knows how fortunate he is to have the people in his life that he does.
Yeah. And he feels like the bad luck that he has at least gives others good luck. Like he's sucking it all up.
Yeah.
Which is so fucking sad again.
Which is, I'm sure that happens sometimes. And then other times it just harms them.
Everyone gets fucked.
Yeah.
So, as we mentioned earlier, Bennett does not appear in the original Mondstadt Archon line at all. He has some like quick showing ups in some events, but the first time we really see him is in his hangout, which is called the Fantastic Voyage. Again, really just giving him all these positive like adjectives, guys. Like, first off, was it fantastic? I don't think so. And a voyage, like, where was the boat? Like, I think of a voyage, I think I'm going on the open seas. I didn't do either of those things.
But it was one hell of a story.
And I will say, it had been so long since I'd done this hangout that before I started watching it again, and I was just trying to remember what I thought, I was like, Bennett has bad luck, Bennett almost died, Bennett sad. Like, those were my long-term takeaways from this quest.
Did you also put in there murderer?
No, because he didn't actually kill anyone.
Well, but did he?
I know, Jack. We see Jack.
But there's a little ghost coming out of his face. Like his little like, okay, we'll get there in a second.
Well, if the Fang is an anime thing, the ghost is also an anime thing.
A ghost of a ghost. Who tells got all the ghosts and they're dead people?
No, Jack is alive. But anyway, the hangout
Oh, wait, it's Royce anyway.
Oh, it's Royce? Royce is alive.
Are you sure?
Royce must have multiple lives because he was also in a cave that Klee threw a bomb into.
And he mentions it in the hangout because it got his leg and he literally couldn't stand it anymore, both figuratively and literally. He makes that point.
Well, thanks, I know.
Yeah. But I mean, even with that, like, how can you blame Bennett? It was Klee who decided to throw like an explosive into a rabbit hole, which what? Like, why? Busting all the bunnies.
Just doing her best Elmer Fudd.
I will say, I think it's really funny with Klee because everyone has been with Klee when she's fucked something up. Albedo, Kaya, Jean, but none of them are blamed for Klee's mishappenings.
And Klee loves hanging out with Bennett because she always finds more treasure than usual when she's adventuring with him. But then she mentions that he never finds any.
Finds none. Like, this poor guy.
Yeah.
He's trying so hard, and that's like his favorite hobby is looking for treasure. And I don't know how you can have that as a favorite hobby when you literally have never found any. It's like if I was like, my favorite hobby is making pottery, but I've never made a piece of pottery in my life.
But it's more so like you painted the edge of pottery. Because like he finds like a couple scattered mora. He tells us that like, the kinds of treasures that we talk about with like swords and artifacts and stuff like that, like those have to be really rare because he just finds like, a cabbage or some carrots. I mean, it's a treasure. It wasn't his. Now it is.
Yeah, and we see Paimon get pretty upset about some of that stuff. But so the hangout starts with us in Mondstadt, and we run into Bennett, and he's basically like, yo, what the fuck? You're the traveler. I love you. Do you want to go travel together?
This part cracked me up so much rewatching it because I didn't catch it the first time. He doesn't ask if we want to go adventuring. He asks if he could watch us like a kinky little creep. He's like, no. Can I watch you adventure? Because like I am not good at it and you are.
Can I watch you adventure?
Can I watch you?
Sound...
What?
That does sound odd.
It sounds like some form of role play.
Yeah.
Can I watch you
Can
adventure?
I watch you? The voyeur, Bennett.
Hey girl. Can I watch you adventure?
Oh my god, you almost did like a child impression there. Hey girly.
Girly.
That's what he says.
Oh.
That child's with, hey girly. Hey, girly. Anyway, I could say that forever. Hey, girlies aside. So we agree because we're the traveler and we never say no to anything. Literally. You know what we say no to? Finding our sibling.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you have three options from here. You can either choose to hang out around town, do some shopping. It looks like Bennett's got a little list going of things he wants to do, errand day. You can choose to go take like a nature walk. Maybe a nice little brisk walk in a field of flowers. Or you can choose to go explore this recently found ruins with the bad luck magnet. So it's really up to you how you want to die. I mean, explore.
So choose your own harrowing adventure.
Yeah, what are we choosing? What's the first step?
I mean, I think I went adventuring right away.
I did too.
Oh, you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I went straight to the dungeon.
Yeah.
All right. So we go to the dungeon. And here's my next question, guys, because we're choosing our own adventure. Before you go into the dungeon, do you choose to prepare food? I feel like I'm running a D&D campaign.
I did.
I did, yeah.
Oh, wow. You both tried to be
I
prepared.
can't believe I remember that. That's crazy.
I did because I feel like that's what I learned very early on was if you're going to go, like, he was like setting us up for this is shit that you do in the game. And it's like, oh, I always bring some food. I'm like, that's a good idea. I don't know if I'm going to get lost with you.
Yeah, and I don't know if I had cooked anything yet at this point because I played this hangout so early in the game and I was still figuring out how the game works. So you're right. I think that's why I do remember this stuff. I was learning so much about the mechanics as I did it.
You were like, Bennett taught me how to survive despite his bad luck.
How to survive the hangouts, yeah.
Or anything. I mean, cooking was fundamental for me for surviving A.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we go with Bennett. We decide that we're going to prepare food before we go into the ruins. And we make my favorite snack, ominous food. Because nothing says we're going to get through this together like a plate of ominous.
Delicious.
Yeah. So we go into the ruin. And we get stuck in it, of course. And this is where we find Royce, one of the ex-members of Benny's adventurers team. And he is a jerk, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. He's a rude motherfucker. For somebody who's stuck, he could really have been a lot nicer. Granted, he was stuck because Bennett closed the door and broke the machine. But he didn't need to be that rude. It was in front of strangers.
It's fight or flight, and he couldn't flee, so he chose fight. People are not their best selves when they're panicked because they think they're going to die at any moment.
I think that's when I'm at my best self.
The harbinger of death just walked in the door. Of course, he's going to be a little cranky.
The harbinger of death.
He's going to be a little cranky.
The harbinger of death. Is that the missing number? Is that... He's
the missing harbinger.
Oh my god. The tramp stamp is gonna all of a sudden become 666.
No, the poor boy. So after 666 gets us stuck and he gets yelled at by Royce kind of realizes, well, shit, I'm stuck in this situation too. Maybe I should calm the fuck down. And he gives up a bit. And Bennett ends up offering Royce, or I guess Royce asks for some of Bennett's food. And this is when the traveler gets to interject, which I think is really funny. Like, why are we gatekeeping the way that Bennett gets to treat people? The traveler gets to make a decision on whether or not Bennett does share his ominous food with Royce. So this comes down to, who do you want to almost die? Royce or Bennett?
Royce was a big old fucking jerk. So I was like, fuck that shit. We need that food. You made it for us.
So if you choose to not share with Royce, Bennett is like, okay, and he eats it, and he knows that it's ominous. He knows it's not going to do well, but his headspace is like, well, if I pass out, my bad luck will disperse, and someone will find a way out of here. Which I'm like, how the fuck does that work? How does your bad luck just disappear because you're snoring?
But he has proof behind it. Like, anytime he's been unconscious, like he got hit by lightning and then was unconscious, and then Cyrus carried him all the way home and there was no bad luck. Like,
he got hit by lightning?
Yeah.
And he didn't get a cutscene either?
No.
Oh, snap. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you guys were saying he would get a cutscene. Well, it seems like his bad luck. Now all lightning strike victims have bad luck and don't get fucking cutscenes.
Was this pre-game?
It was pre-game.
That doesn't matter to them.
Also, like, shouldn't people that adventure with him just start bringing sedatives?
Yeah. That's one way. If you've noticed this trend, because he has, so somebody else had to have noticed it, to be like, let's just put Unlock Boy into the wheelbarrow, just, give him a roofie and go on our business.
Exactly. Like, my ominous dish for him is going to be loaded with Benadryl.
Yeah.
Just like a Xanax crushed down into Jello.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, look, Benny, it's a Benny.
it's
Yeah.
a Benny. He's like, ooh, Eggs Benedict? No, bitch. You could put it in your Eggs Benedict. But yeah, so if you give it to Bennett, he sacrifices himself and he falls unconscious. And we get out. We do get out safely. If you choose to share your food with Royce, the alternative happens where Royce gets poisoned.
He dies.
No.
The picture we get is Royce dead on the ground and a little tiny soul leaving his body.
Oh, no. Tiff, that's a sperm.
What did they do to Royce? He's got fucking blood coming out of his mouth.
That's not blood.
Oh, Jesus
That's
Christ.
the ominous food.
That is
Ominous spooge.
Oh, Brandon. No, he's alive though.
I do think that's like an anime type of just to show you how he's
That's the
completely
poison.
Yeah.
I'm going with he's dead. I'm just gonna go. He's a little murderer.
Travelers, let us know your thoughts on whether or not Royce is alive.
Do we ever see him again?
I will say that I tracked around all of Mondstadt City and did not see him. I went into the church and I went to Angel Share.
You guys, I was looking at Royce on the fandom wiki, and the top comment is just all caps. Did he die? Here's another comment. The best ending was when Royce died because everyone hates Royce.
He's a dick. We don't need to save him.
Oh my God. And then there's a bunch of Royce defenders too.
What?
They're debating. Everyone here is treating Royce far worse than he ever treated Bennett.
Oh my God.
If you're ever looking for an actual villain that is legitimately evil, then migrate to the page of a certain mother-killer.
Which one?
Yeah, seriously. That doesn't really narrow it down.
Assuming, is that supposed to be A?
A.
Arlecchino.
Rhine Daughter.
Well, this was from 2021, so I bet
Okay.
it was A.
So we have Royce. I don't know. I think he's alive. Tiff thinks
He's
that
dead.
he's dead. B is 50-50.
I'm going to guess that he's alive. I think he's probably alive. But I would love it if he was dead.
It'd be the last time anybody would fuck with Bennett. Be like, did you hear what happened? You can't leave. Once you join Benny's adventure team, you can't leave because see what happened to Royce?
D-E-A.
No one leaves the family.
Yeah.
No one leaves the family.
Oh my God, that's all his dads. They're all mobsters.
They are with Navia. Navia is actually one of the dads since she is the Burger King of Simulanka. But yeah, that's how that part of it ends. Now, you also can choose to not prepare food before going into the ruin. And if you do not prepare food, you find a mechanism, and then you have another choose your adventure. Are you going to help Bennett with the mechanism? Or are you going to let him do it himself?
This one, I literally don't remember what I did first.
I think I helped him first.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
All right. So if you choose to help Bennett, you eventually figure it out. You find a treasure chest, and it actually has treasure in it, and you make Bennett's life. Woo! He's like, this is glorious. I've never seen a treasure that wasn't a cabbage. Woo! It's like he's only run into the unfortunate hilly troll.
Mm-hmm.
Or the
Yeah.
unusual hilly troll. Sorry. You become the unfortunate hilly troll.
If that hilly troll met Bennett enough, he would be the unfortunate
Yeah.
hilly troll.
He's the unfortunate hilly troll when he shows up on my steps.
Yeah, you really go all out to kill that dude.
Well, there's achievements I'm trying to get, but I only look
He's
for him
just
in
trying
2
to do
locations.
business.
Yeah, well, his business is giving me an achievement that will give me 5 primos at some point. So, actually, I think I'm up to the 20 primo part of it, where you have to like kill him 50 times. It's very annoying.
Oh, wow.
I thought the 21 was the last, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, they love doing that to you in the achievements. Oh, you think you're done? Nope.
Now, if you choose to let Bennett do the mechanism by himself, he tries to figure it out and it doesn't work, and then you're just stuck. I don't remember how we got out.
That it does. It just shows you a picture. You're just sitting on the step, like, well, that sucked.
Yeah, I guess eventually Bennett falls asleep, and then you figure it out
The
yourself.
door opens. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to knock him unconscious, and then all of a sudden the doors spring open.
You just let him get a little eepy, and then you're good.
You know, does it have to be like unconscious, like asleep, or does it have to be like medically unconscious?
Assume that it's either or, because
Okay.
I'd like to make the presumption that he is safe when he sleeps.
That's true. Mondstadt hasn't like burnt down.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's never like had a spider make a nest in his ear while he sleeps or anything
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
Oh my God.
Sorry. That was, I don't know why that was my first thought. But
Why was that your first thought?
So I'll tell you why, because, and I'm not going to spoil anything for the quest, but I started the new Archon with, my boy Albedo, and I was playing it, and my monitor went black because I assumed they were going to show me some sort of flashback to something Albedo was doing. And then I saw a spider on my screen, and I was like, oh, they're going to do something with spiders because he eats spiders. Like, that was my first fucking thought. Like, he's Arlecchino, and like spiders are a main point in his life. And then the screen went back to whatever, and the spider crawled off the screen and was on the black part of the monitor. And I was like, I literally jumped, pushed my chair back. I was like, oh fuck, this is real.
Oh wow, this cutscene is really lifelike.
I was like, why is it not on the screen anymore? And so then I killed the spider.
And then you ate it?
No. I squished and I put it in the toilet.
Oh, no.
What? I don't like squishing bugs. I really, really do not.
Oh, I don't either.
I don't like the noise. I don't like the feeling. I used my fucking Omerta notebook that I keep all my Genshin notes in. It was terrible. Like, I had to scrub the back of my fucking notebook. But that's why spiders were on the top of my mind.
This is why you won't have a bunch of eggs hatching in your ear.
Yeah, because I kill things. Not eating the allegations. Dead.
I'm sleeping with earmuffs on.
I'm gonna come down to you.
Oh.
I want you.
Wait, Tiff, do you remember this story? I'll never forget the story that Tiff told once, where I think it might have been your sister's friend or someone.
It was
with
the
AC.
the beetle.
No, it was spiders, and there was like a window AC unit.
Yes, it's my sister. So shortly after my sister moved into her apartment, and it's an older house, and it's like she's in a second floor. She had like a series of unfortunate events when she moved into this
Like
apartment.
Bennett.
Yes. And one of them being, so she got this beautiful white furniture for her bedroom, which is important to know. And she's in bed, and her fiance at the time worked overnight, so she was home by herself. And all of a sudden she starts seeing these little black dots. And she's like, what the hell are these things? Like, what is this? Like, she thought maybe it was her vision or something. And she turns the light on. And apparently there was a spider with a egg pouch in front of the air conditioner. So baby spiders was just being spewed across her bedroom. All over the bed, the headboard, over the wall, in the carpeting. She was horrified.
I mean, I would have literally jumped out of a window. If anything prevented me from immediately getting the fuck out of the house, I would have slammed my head against the wall until I passed out, so I wouldn't have to be in the room awake with those things.
She luckily did not do that. She left the room and shut the door and called my mom. And my mom, who only lived a few blocks away, came over and they used a vacuum. And I want to say she did not sleep in that room for 2 nights, and she vacuumed constantly.
2 nights. Yeah, it would have been 2 years for me.
Yeah.
Everything got washed. Everything got, yeah. And like she told me, and I was just like, "What the?" I'm like, "Could you imagine? Like you're laying down, it's dark, only the light from the TV, and then you're like, what the frick are these little light?" Mm-mm.
It's like my worst fear.
I just like the fact that I had to like ask you 3 different horrifying scenarios of which story I was going to tell you.
What bug it could be.
Yeah. Because the beetle in the ear is the other one that stays with me. And that was my dad. I'm going to tell it now, too, because everybody needs to know this and shut the windows when you're driving your car. My father is a volunteer fireman. And sometimes what they do is they go and hang out just outside the fire department. So him and a couple of the guys were outside and this car like erratically came up and like into the parking lot in front. The guy came out and he was screaming and they're like, "What is the matter? Like, what's going on?" He's like, "It's in my ear. It's in my ear. It's in my ear." And they're like, "What the hell?" And thankfully the EMTs were right next door. So they came over and he was driving with the windows down and a beetle went into the car and went into his ear, and then he felt something, so he put his finger in there because that's what you do, and he pushed it down further, and then he could feel it crawling.
That happened to me when I was a kid, but it was a moth.
Oh,
and it just flew into my ear, and then I couldn't get it out, and it kept trying to flap its wings.
Oh my god!
Oh no!
It would just like in my ear canal. And what was funny though is the way I got it out was like you would imagine a cartoon, like I like leaning my head over to where that ear was pointing at the ground and then banging on the opposite side.
Oh my god!
Head.
Like that was totally a cartoon move.
Yeah, and it worked. It got the moth out.
Well, this dude, luckily the EMTs were able to get it out. And then every single time for like maybe 10 years, anytime we were in the backyard and there was a beetle, me and my sister immediately just held our ears.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I do get a little freaked out when I see a moth now, just so you know.
See what you did, Amanda? Trauma.
Well, thanks to this, we're actually going to go out into our nature walk with Bennett, which is another option that we have. So plug your ears, get prepared, hide your egg sacs. So your other option, you have 2 other options still besides explore the ruins, and one of them is to go on a nature walk. And so you go and you stroll in what is called a dandelion meadow. However, when we get there, there are no seeds in these dandelions. They are seedless, fruitless. We can't even pick them to have because you know that Glory's gonna ask for them. And we're like, what the fuck? And so we go on a little adventure and we find a monsterless camp, but then there's treasure chests and we get really hyped and we go and open them and they're vegetables. And Paimon is like, "Ashton Kutcher, where the fuck are you? I know I'm on Punked. What the fuck are you doing? Like, get out." But Ashton Kutcher does not arrive. Instead, we get thunder, lightning, and rain. And all of a sudden, we run into Jack, who is a young adventurer in the Adventurers Guild. You might recognize Jack as a guy that looks like he has like a leek hanging out of his bag. He's up near the Adventurers Guild by Cyrus during the day in Mondstadt, but he's also one of the members of the Benny Adventures team that is no more. And he's basically like, "Hey, Benny, like, your dads are looking for you. They're worried about you. They haven't heard from you all day. You need to, like, come back with me."
They're like, "It's been 3 hours. He might be dead."
And like, and it's all this rain, our arthritis is bothering us, and we need him to take care of us and get the medicine.
Yeah, like, "Where's my denture cream, Bennett?" I thought that's where you were going. So Bennett's like, "Oh man, I need to go take care of my family." And he leaves us to go with Jack. And as soon as he's like out of sight, the sun came out. So the rain cloud followed Bennett back to Mondstadt.
And Paimon's like, "Wait, isn't that peculiar?"
Really, Paimon, don't question it. Just let it be. And your final option with Bennett is you could choose to go shopping with him. He has a bunch of errands that he needs to run, and they're all in Mondstadt City, and you choose to go with him. But of course, shopping with Bennett cannot go right. So first we go to Marjorie's store, and whatever Bennett needed from there is totally sold out. He's like, "Oh, all right."
He was waiting for this really like awesome like hand-drawn map by Herman, you know, because everybody wants the map drawn by Herman. And he was all excited that it was finally going to come in. And Marjorie's like, "Well, you know, like all the stuff got here, but the cart tipped over on the way. And because it was a hand-drawn map, it got completely ruined. Everything else was fine, but your map's gone."
Herman is Ellen's father and a former famous adventurer.
You're right. Herman is Ellen's father. Well, he's not an adventurer anymore, so...
He sold his sword, Cold Steel, as a sign of his commitment to ending his life of adventuring.
Not Cold Steel.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he got a whole 2 more for that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like 20 of those. You know, I have like 20 Cold Steels and no Kniech. Like,
yeah. For Ellen's birthday, he went and stole the Hilly Trail wooden dummies. So during that daily that you get, and you have to go like hit the Hilly Trail dummies. That's Herman's.
yes, Herman is up by a house in like the middle of Mondstadt.
Yeah, because I think you talk to him like around the corner from where she is, like
he's creepily watching her.
Yeah. And I think he quit when he had a kid, right? That's his whole story.
Yeah.
You know what this is making me realize we should do? We should start doing episodes that are like all of the lesser known characters in Mondstadt or wherever.
Yes.
Mondstadt
and just go through them.
Oh my God, Mondstadt NPCs would be great because it'd be like, all right, well, you got Donna over here who's literally going to form a throuple. And you got Herman, who's like a secret adventurer. You got fake Stanley pretending to be real Stanley. And you got that one bitch that I love who's always running around like gossiping about Kaya and D-Luke, who totally tells us that Sarah has a crush on Kaya. You got fucking Glory over here who's blind and like thinks that something is going to heal her blindness. You've got Anna who's sick. And you got these random 2 guys. And then my favorite is the little guy from the Goth family, Marvin, whose daddy, Mr. Goth, won't let him do anything, but he goes out on secret dates and Star Snatch with that girl from Springvale. That's just some of them.
Yeah, there's a lot. We could probably do like more than 1 episode per region.
Oh my God, it'd be so fun.
Call it NPC me.
Anyway, back to shopping. So Herman's map is sold out. Benny is sad. And then we go to Sarah and she's like, listen, I can't help you with anything. I can't make you food. I can't sell you food. I have a huge order from a Sisters 9 delegate and I just can't do anything. And Bennett's like, oh, all right. This is unfortunately normal. And we go over to the general store that Blanche owns, which is right across the way. And it seems like our luck is switching because there's a 50% off sign. Well, I guess it's really a sale sign. Everything supposedly is on sale. I like to think it's 50% off. But Blanche is nowhere to be seen. And when she does show up, she's like, oh, hey guys, sorry, I'm actually closing up. And those sales, yeah, that's from yesterday. Which, Blanche, I could sue you. That's false advertising.
Her store was closed. She put the sign was actually up that it was closed and somebody took the sign. And apparently Blanche don't know how to get rid of other signs, so she just posts them on top of the old ones. So when Barbados flew by and was like, ha ha ha, Bennett, took the poster off, it still said the sale from the day before.
Still think I can win that lawsuit.
I mean, we can go get Yanfei and find out.
Yeah, or just me. I'll be our lawyer. But that's the end of that. We get nothing done. No shopping. No bitches.
Did y'all already say that Blanche isn't she the daughter of Cyrus? Did y'all say that already?
Oh, I don't know.
Marjorie is his daughter. Sorry.
Oh, they kind of look alike.
His older sister, Iris, is also a member of the guild, and his daughter, Marjorie, is the owner of Mondstadt's souvenir shop.
Iris. I definitely have met Iris before.
NPC me.
I know, the family ties and the NPCs. Like, holy shit. Who's your favorite, off the top of your head without thinking too hard, your favorite Mondstadt NPC?
Oh, Anna.
Oh, okay. Sick Anna, who's not sick anymore, depending on how much you did her daily.
And she's like becoming an adventurer and stuff now, right?
Oh, that's right. She is. She was just like, oh, I'm good now. Now I'm going to go. And her brother's all like freaked out about it too, right?
Yeah, he's like, I spent $1,000 on doctors and now you're going to go die?
She's on my list. She's on my list of like NPCs that deserve a vision. Or that I hope will get a vision.
What about you, Tiff? Who's your, off the top of your head, favorite Mondstadt NPC?
Nora, the little child who runs around by the church.
Okay, she's cute.
Yeah, and she'll just tell you random things too. She wants you to play with her.
Okay.
And then we're like, what are you doing? Her father is Patton, and he's at that place where all the drunken uncles go.
Oh, yeah. And that's Angel Share.
And she's just skipping around the Barbados statue.
I think my favorite NPC is Vile because she's just got all this sick gossip. But I'm going to take this boat back to Bennett. So that's the end of Bennett's hangout. Another really important thing that I think to note with Bennett is his vision story. And I think that his vision story opens a lot of thoughts and questions as well after talking about Kinich last week. So Bennett was basically dying. He, his bad luck had prevailed. And he started to realize he was bleeding. He was like, oh my God, I've lost a lot of blood. And he passed out. He didn't get any treasure, by the way, just so you know, of course. No treasure, no blood, passes out. And when he woke up, he found that all his wounds had been cauterized by a mysterious flame, and he also had a vision. And I just find that very curious after we know that a vision made Kinich a zombie and brought him back to life in the Night Warden Wars.
And isn't that kind of how Chi-Chi survived too? She was about to be dead, and then they gave her a vision, and she survived, and then she literally turned into a zombie.
Yeah. Is Kinich a zombie? No, he's aging, I think.
Well,
he's aging.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's considered a zombie. No, because he got resurrected.
And he doesn't have to do calisthenics.
Yeah.
But he was a zombie for a minute.
Yeah, a house saw it. But when he woke up and had the vision, he says that it was not the mercy of the world or that fate took pity on him. He felt it was rather that this was his final reward, one benefiting a person with Bennett's burning passion.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks it's like a sign that the gods haven't given up on him, despite the fact that they cursed him.
I just love that it cauterized his wounds. So yeah, it wasn't as crazy as Kenich's situation, where it like sort of took control of his body. But it did heal him and keep him from bleeding out.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows, right?
So it's definitely one of the more like wild vision stories in the game, I think. He's one of the very early characters. Like they wrote this for him very early on.
They're like, we'll really make you question what a vision is right off the bat.
Yeah.
And now, Bennett, as a member of the Adventurers Guild, you'd think that he'd have a lot of relationships outside of his dad's, and that's not true. For the most part, he has, very, mid-ground relationships with people, anyone who has a voice line about him, and there aren't many, are basically like, yeah, I know that guy. Amber calls him hot-blooded, notes that he likes to adventure. Barbara says he always gets hurt and is at the cathedral, and she wishes he'd take better care of himself. Now, Fischl, she calls him an ill-starred man. She's like, it saddens me to know how much bad luck he gets. Klee says that he's the best, but, everyone but D-Luke is the best in Klee's eyes. And she mentions the treasure hunting, which Brandon mentioned earlier. And Noelle makes note of how Bennett's always trying to convince her to go for the Adventurers Guild, but she's got her heart set on the Knights. And Razor goes, Bennett, much talking, eat with him, never full. In which case, Bennett calls him the Wolvendom guy and calls Razor feral. He's like, he's kind of feral. I'm like, that's great.
I wonder if those voice lines were written. I bet, yeah, they had to have written those before they kind of paired those two up, right?
I would hope so. Because, the idea is, from between the voice lines Bennett and Razor have is, they have meals together because they're both, really into eating meat because, I get they're guys, I don't know. And they eat together. And they bond over that, even though, Bennett's not the best cook. Now, those are the only characters that have voice lines about Bennett. And I think that's kind of sad because, Bennett's voice lines about them, I think, are a little more in-depth, where he's like, oh, Amber must be a bad cook. He says that Barbara's music can boast even his worst moods. And with Fischl, he actually calls her by her full name. He's like, the princess and blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah, and he actually believes that she's from another world.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that he wants to, explore her world.
Mm-hmm.
And he, she keeps, blowing him off.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, she keeps blowing him off. And Bennett's thought is oh, well, I know it's because she's trying to protect me. Her world sounds really dangerous. And I'm like, what have you been exposed to where you think world traversing is a thing, Bennett? Hello?
Just Fischl.
Just Fischl. And with Klee, he even says he loves hanging out with Klee, but he is always worried that his bad luck is going to set off her bombs. So he tries not to hang out with Klee because he doesn't want to hurt anyone.
That's considerate. I appreciate that.
Now, he has some voice lines about characters, and he has some interactions with characters that they don't have voice lines about him. One, because they're not around, or two, because they just don't. But one of those people is Jean. And so Gene, he mentions that he really wants to talk to Jean and get help with like building out his little adventure team, but he knows that she's much stricter than him with rules because of the knights, and he decides not to do it. And he also has a few voice lines about Varka. He says that Varka is basically his role model, but he does feel like maybe he shouldn't be in as great of a leadership position as Varka, and he thinks that maybe he should stick to a smaller group of people so that he'll still have time to take care of his dads, because he feels like if he was head of the guild or head of the knights, he just wouldn't have time to take care of the 30 elderly men living in his basement. And also, you know, it's interesting because Varka, in some of Bennett's stories, it makes note that he is so fascinated by Bennett's fighting skills and like how he fights, because he fights with no care for himself. Yeah. And if he gets hurt, it's very chaotic but fun, and he loves it.
He's like, I don't know how that kid's not dead. Like Royce.
No, not like Royce.
I know Varka, Barbara, Oz, and Herman all talk specifically about his bad luck.
So many people. It's so sad. It also reminds me a little bit of Kanish, where like we're like, oh, people avoid Kanish because of a how. And like I feel like they're avoiding Bennett because of his bad luck, even though he's a sweet kid.
They give him a lot of like Bennett Fischl and Bennett Barbara moments in his lore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure like anyone that ships those characters together are happy with that. One thing I thought was really funny is that he goes to Barbara for bandaging so much that he even sees her more than her creepy stalker Albert. You know, the president of her fan club. And they talk about how Albert injures himself on purpose just to go to her to like get bandaged up.
Ooh.
But Bennett is going to her for bandages even more than Albert, who's hurting himself on purpose.
Oh my God.
I think Albert needs to go see Mizuki.
Albert? Oh my God, yeah.
I think he
Albert
needs to get
help.
fed a dinner from Bennett. Go meet Royce.
Go have an ominous food, Albert.
Yeah, Albert, just hang out with Bennett more.
Yeah, you hang out with us. Let's go.
My favorite thing is that even in like, he's in a few different events and stuff like that, but he's even getting into like random trouble there too, because in the Albedo event, gets locked in a cage.
Yeah. And falls off the mountain.
And falls off a fucking mountain. They're like, oh, this kid.
But Albedo saves him.
It's hilarious that like he almost kills all of them on the mountain.
It's hilarious. He almost killed them all.
But you know, one good thing about that is it gave us Ulamber.
Yes. Yes, because as Bennett almost plunged to his death off the side of the mountain, Eula grabbed Amber and saved her.
Yeah.
The most iconic way possible.
It's funny how Shadows and Miss Snowstorms had so many iconic little moments for people. It's like Yule Amber, Suspedo, getting to see Bennett do like his full little burst thing. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so cool.
And you'll never see it again.
Well, no, you can see it again if you listen to our episode on it and go to YouTube and watch the people's playthroughs.
Yeah, but it would be, I wish it was in the game. It's very important. And wait, you see Bennett's full burst in that?
Yeah, remember he like slams the sword down and like breaks, the ice pillars.
Okay.
They give you like a weird little recap of the event in the new Archon quest.
Does not include Yule Amber.
Oh, really? Oh.
They're not like, and then Eula sexily grabbed Amber.
They should have.
They should have let Russ write it. They would be like, no, this thing would be 8 pages long. So, Kirara has been waiting very patiently because someone had recommended that we start giving her fish as a thank you, and we did tonight, and she's being real nice. So, Kirara left us some mail, and she purred away. Thanks, Kirara.
Good to see you doing better, Kirara, after all of your recent trauma.
She'll be mad at us again next week, and by us, I mean me. So, our first message comes from Rai, and they said, here's something that's been bugging me ever since I completed the Sumeru Archon quest. Spoilers, of course, for anyone who hasn't finished Sumeru. After Scaramouche Control-Alt-Deletes himself from Irminsul, everyone forgets about him, even A, right? But isn't A his creator? So shouldn't A remember him in the new timeline, but as Wanderer? But she doesn't have a voice line about him. Like, how does Wanderer come into existence in this new timeline? He's still physically a puppet, so who created him?
Well, I don't think he needed to be created again because he technically didn't die. It was just the memories of him that was taken away. And I think that especially because A did not birth him. If he was like a physical child, I could see maybe there'd be like, well, how do you forget a kid? But I mean, we've seen that in a lot of other, I mean, not necessarily in Genshin, but some other stories and stuff where people are just kind of like erased from their memory.
I would forget a kid real quick.
Back to the Future. They were just disappearing right off of those Polaroids. I think that that's why, like, it makes sense that A doesn't remember him because he wasn't more than just a puppet. Yeah, I think like he didn't have to get reborn, so his history is still his history. Like he still knows everything.
Right, but he didn't at first, right? I feel like they should have done a better job of like giving him a false backstory before he regains his memories.
Yeah, he kind of didn't know. He was like, yeah, I've just been wandering these streets. And we're like, okay.
Isn't he like, I'm a fucking puppet?
Yeah.
Who made me?
I'm a fucking puppet. Like, what now?
I feel like, though, I wasn't sure if I believed him that he didn't know. Like, I was kind of like, but you really do? You just trying to play this off because you're being very emo right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's something he would do.
Yeah.
I believe that he didn't know who he was just because he's made of this world. It's not like us. And also, I think that was the whole point of like going back through the storybook with him and like reliving all these things with him and him getting his vision, like fighting himself, was that we were like reminding him of who he was. And he very clearly, his tone changed when he remembered who he was. He was like, oh, welcome back, snarky bitch Skara, instead of being like the nicer wanderer version. We do definitely see like a demeanor change. But I wanted to say on the note of A is that I would assume that A thinks that she created a puppet and that she destroyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know prior to the Control-Alt-Delete of Scaramouche in the timeline, Yaimiko has a voice line where she's like, basically, I wish that A had destroyed him. And that does not exist anymore, and Yaimiko does not mention a puppet. So if I had to assume anything, it's either that they never made an initial puppet, and the Ryan Shogun puppet was the best, and they had no flaws, or Ryan Shogun still made a faulty puppet, but it was immediately destroyed. And that would confer with Yaimiko, I think, not having a voice line about it, too. That's just my thought, though, on, like, where her headspace is.
Yeah, that's a good theory. I do think they should have clarified it more because I feel like this is a point of confusion for a lot of people. And I also think it's easy to confuse what he did, which I've done myself before, where you think that he's like, when he goes into Irminsul, just to make sure we're all on the same page now, all that is doing is it's changing everyone's memories of what actually happened. But like, it's not actually rewriting the events. It's not creating a new reality or a new history. It's just changing everyone's memories about the real history.
Yeah, so like with the Raiden Gokudin, which is Kazua's ancestor who made the sword stuff that was killed by Scaramouche, they think it was just like some random killing instead. Or it was like a competitor swordsman that killed them.
So everything has to have the same end result because physical reality didn't change. It's just altering the memories of how those events happened. So I feel like that's easy to sort of get mixed up when we think about Irminsul. Just keeping that in mind, then yeah, it's like he did come from A, but yeah, we don't know what A thinks of the first puppet she made, or if she even remembers making it.
Right.
And we don't know where Wanderer thought he came from when he did the rewrite. Because wouldn't you be like, oh, I'm a puppet, I'm not like everyone? Did he rewrite it to where he thought someone else made him, or that he knew it was A, but there was some circumstance why she had to forget him? Like they should have explained that, and they didn't.
Did he know he was a puppet?
I mean, he has puppet joints, he has a puppet body, so I'm assuming when he sees people bleed and he doesn't.
He's like, what the fuck?
Wait, but maybe he rewrote it to where he always remembered that he was a puppet, but that he had a different puppet, he had a different origin as a puppet. I'm assuming, Scaramouche wasn't the one who decided what Wanderer, like what would replace all of these events after he was removed from them in the ley lines. I mean, I guess It can lend a little bit of credence to the theory that Irminsul's just a big computer.
Yeah. Or like Istroth is in there like, fuck, now I gotta write this all up, like
Yeah.
cigar out of the mouth, typing like a old-timey journalist.
Yeah.
Or you end up Spider-Manning yourself.
Yeah.
Like, or Peter Parker is like, no one will know Spider-Man, and then no one knew Peter Parker. And he was erased from everyone's minds. But thank you, Rye, for your
Thanks,
question. Very thought-provoking. Our next message comes from Ash, who's in our Discord server, and they said, "All right, I feel like this question may have been asked before, but I was talking a lot about alternative fits in the server last night and the night before in the community hangout voice chat, and I read Smavi's, I think it's Smavi. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. You know who you are. Comment about giving Navia her King Navia alt fit." So I want to know what alt fits you'd like to see for the characters that don't currently have one.
There's only one correct answer to this.
What?
What do you think I'm going to say?
Gotta have something to do with a hat.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm trying to think.
There's one that's the ultimate that we need it.
Like for you though, like it's you in your opinion, or it's gonna be like fandom.
It's in my opinion, but I feel like y'all are gonna be like, oh yeah, we do need that.
I'm trying to remember who else we would have seen in another. Like, this have to be like an outfit we've already seen, or just somebody we think needs a fit.
Yes, an outfit we've seen, but that you cannot purchase.
Does merch, like when you know how they do like some of those alt fits for people for like certain merches, do those count?
I mean, I think if it's official.
Yeah, an official piece.
Yeah.
I want Beto's McDonald's fit. No. All right, who, Brandon? Who? I want to know.
It's the one, the only Slutty Venti.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Manga Slutty Venti, yes.
And actually, there's so many good ones in the manga. So, like, my number 2 pick would probably be Kaya from the manga.
Which one?
There's one where he's wearing a white blazer.
Can I have the one of Sino without the dumb shorts?
You just want his cape from the manga?
Yeah, because if he's still wearing the shorts, at least the cape is hiding them.
His cloak in the manga is really cool.
It is. It makes him very mysterious.
Which he is in the manga. I think it's so cool that he got introduced before the game even came out. So fun. Him and Kale.
Yeah. Let me show you this picture.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's so good.
I mean, Diluc and Kaya both have good fits in the manga, and so does Jean, and so does Lisa.
Amber has like multiple good ones.
Yeah. We did a fashion episode. Did we do a fashion episode? Or was it when we talked about the manga that we talked about all the manga fits?
We did an outfit episode, Walk the Runway or something.
Yeah, but we also, I think when we did our manga episode, like we talked about all the different fits in the manga. And then Diluc has a really cute fit in the manga as well, where he has a white jacket.
Oh yeah, I like Kaya's long jacket. Yes, I like the Diluc white jacket too. Give them brothers their white jackets.
What I'd really like to see if I had to pick is, first off, I mean, in-game one that comes to mind is Delusion Child. I've been saying that since day one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, where the fuck is my Delusion Child outfit? But the other option I would pick is Genshin did a collab with M&G, which I think is like a stationery company, and they gave Albedo and Tignari fits from it. Where they look like they're like little researchers going out in the desert and into the forest, and it's so cute. It's very like what the characters look like in Tarzan, like when they're going to adventure and they meet Tarzan for the first time.
Is that little pin on Albedo's suspenders that's supposed to be like a forest ranger, like sheriff badge?
No, I think it's just his star. It's just like that symbol of star for him.
It's so funny because he's wearing a blue shirt. It makes me think of like
he's a police officer.
Police officer.
Like he's a mall cop.
He's
like
a sketch artist.
like a sheriff or a deputy from like the 70s or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually Kale and Tignari also did a collab with Kiehl's, which is like a skincare company, and they also had super cute adventure fits from that. So I would say, like, I'd really like to see, obviously, Tignari get something fun. I mean, I love Tignari's outfit, don't get me wrong, but it'd be nice to see him in something else. And obviously Albedo, and then Child. I got a lot. I said a lot. Sorry, I can never pick one.
Just say Slutty Venti.
And Slutty Venti.
Everybody needs Slutty Venti. I can't really think too much of ones that are in the game that we don't see that, like, I mean, I love Signora's multiple looks, but she's not playable either. So yet I'm going to hold out hope on that one. But I guess like in that, like how funny it would be if you can change Scaramouche into his red version.
Oh, yeah, into his Harbinger version?
Yeah. Turn him back into his Harbinger.
That would be fun.
Or I think like Arlecchino with this Shaznia coat, the winter coat.
Yeah. That would be really fun.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm surprised none of you said?
What?
The KFC collab.
I don't remember the collab ones all that much.
Yeah, I don't remember them until I see them.
Guys.
The D-Look one isn't that different.
I know, It's really the Noelle. I'm just going to show you guys all the collab arts now. I'm like, you guys don't know them?
I mean, I've seen them, but they don't stick out in my mind because to me, they're so off-brand.
Mm-hmm.
The Ningguang Pizza Hut one is cute.
Like, to me, those are just totally not the game. Like, they wouldn't make sense in the game.
I love Yelan if you took the hat off of Yelan for the Pizza Hut collab, it would be so good. And she's actually wearing a jacket instead of like having it on her as a cape.
You're so anti-cape.
I have the same complaint about Baishu. Like, don't wear coats as pin. Why would you pin a coat on your back?
I mean, there's so many. It's kind of crazy how many there are.
That's what we need. Miss Hina, the Goru's Miss Hina's fit.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that before. That would be so fun.
But this collab one of Goro is adorable. The Zhao one is really cute. And Chi-Chi, yeah, these are great.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cute ones.
I didn't know there were so many.
There's a really good one of Child. You know what the thing is like they're not in the US, a lot of these.
Yeah,
so if you're not...
That's why, yeah. Though the Beto one, oh my God, that formal wear Beto to like go out to like a fancy thing with Ningguang, that's fantastic.
And then don't forget too, Genshin recently came out with those like fashion fits for Sino, Diluc, Child, and Yai Miko, I think.
Fashion fits?
Oh, yeah, like the they're kind of like the interpreted what do they call them?
The Resplendent Feast merch. So like they gave all the characters these alt fits. Not all the characters, they gave like 4 of them. Alt fits, 5 of them maybe. It was Yai Miko, Sino, Diluc, Kaching, and Child. And so they made these, and there's merch that goes with them.
Sino's is amazing.
Yeah. And it's just so crazy to me that we have so much of official designs and we don't get any of this. And I know that some of them, to Tiff's point, aren't like game realistic, but there are a lot of options out there.
Mm-hmm.
And really, the further they go from, like, if they continue down the path like they are in Natlan and stuff, there will be no difference between game and, like, they'll no longer be a thing.
And I feel like these ones, like the Resplendent Feast ones, I feel like they fit. Like, they would currently fit in Teyvat. Some of them are just, like, bougie. You know, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really cool. They actually, if you go, like, on a official site where you can buy stuff, they have merch based off of all of these, which is really fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely check it out. But anyway, Ash, thank you so much for the question. Clearly, we had a lot of thoughts on this one.
So, yeah, Slutty Venti, Miss Hina, and what was your top one, Feeny?
Delusion Child.
Delusion Child. Wait, what was it? Miss Hina, your top one, Tiff? What was?
Arlecchino with the Shaznia coat.
Oh,
but I think though, if I had to, but I didn't think of Miss Hina when I said that, so I'll go with Miss Hina as the top one.
I mean,
it would make you like Goro.
It would be the only thing that would potentially make me like Goro, is if he was an entirely different person.
Wow. Well, Ash, thank you for dividing the table. As per usual here, we always have different opinions about Goro. Sorry, Aziram.
I love you, Aziram, but not Goro.
Justice for Goro.
No. Yes. On that note, travelers, that is all the time we have for today. If you like this episode or you didn't like this episode, you can feel free to email us at talesofteyvatpod@gmail.com, where Albedo will be screening all emails and we will be reviewing the ones that he approves with a stamp of chalk for approval. Additionally, travelers can check us out on Ko-fi, where you can buy us a cup of coffee. I think not Dr. Barks was last time. That was a good one.
Diet Barks.
Diet Barks. Pepsi, Mellow Yellow. You name it, you buy it. A Baja Blast. We're all here for a Baja Blast. And any money donated goes to funding our web server, our editing softwares, and things like that. And additionally, you can check out our merch shop where we have some stickers and hoodies, Orphan Alert, Dead Friends, all the fun stuff. You can also follow us on Instagram, Tales of Teyvat Pod, or on Twitter, Tales of Teyvat. Additionally, you can find us on Threads, Blue Sky, and YouTube under the same names. And next week, we're going to be talking about a character that learned to defy gravity and physics with her jacket when we discuss Yelan in Leeway. Until then, safe journeys, travelers. We will see you next time.
Bye, leap year nerds. We'll NPC you later.
Oh, no.
NPC you later.
Charles, Anna, Glory.
Wait, Yelan's Leeway?
Albert.